Joe Biden is all set to become the Captain of America. He'll be taking oath as the 46th President of the United States today. Chief Justice John Roberts will be administering the oath of office to Biden at the west front of the U.S. Capitol. That's the traditional location where the swearing-in is usually held in Washington, D.C. Before Biden, a Supreme Court justice will administer the oath to Kamala Harris, the first woman and Indian American to become the U.S. Vice President. There's unprecedented security in and around the oath event. Central Washington is an armed fortress fenced off with razor wire surrounded by 25,000 National Guard troops. Unlike previous oath events, this swearing-in ceremony will be a low-key affair due to the coronavirus pandemic. Pop artists like Jennifer Lopez, Lady Gaga will be among A-listers who will also be performing at what is going to be largely a virtual swearing-in ceremony. Biden, who will be the oldest president in American history, will deliver his first presidential address to the country after taking oath.
Let's look at the 10 things that the Biden administration will try and accomplish in its first 10 days in office. Their first priority, of course, is a huge COVID stimulus package which they want to inject into the economy to speed up vaccination, to speed up testing. Apart from that, Mr. Biden will look to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord, which Mr. Trump had pulled out of. He will push Congress to try and give some sort of legal status to the 11 million undocumented immigrants living in the United States right now. He will look at how to take forward the issue of racial equality and how to deal with the Black Lives Matter movement. He will also look at how to deal with China, with Iran, and also at various multilateral and bilateral trade agreements. These are all things he hopes to accomplish in his first 10 days in office.
It will mark the end of Donald Trump as president, but Trump is set to leave the White House and skip U.S. President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration. In his farewell address before leaving office, he said that he accomplished what he came to do and went on to do much more than that as well. In a video also posted on YouTube, he said that he took on the tough battles and the hardest fights because that's why he was elected. The last 2 weeks of Trump's term have been dominated by, of course, the fallout from that deadly riot on Capitol Hill when a mob of his supporters stormed Congress seeking to overturn the election result. He's also become the first U.S. president to be impeached twice. Trump will be departing for his house in Florida on Wednesday afternoon and is said to have organized a send-off party also for himself. Let's get you the latest updates on the farmers' agitation. Big headline that's expected today because amid the ongoing deadlock, the government and farmers will be holding the 10th round of talks at Delhi's Vigyan Bhavan. This will happen at 2 p.m. In the talks held so far, there's been no concrete outcome, even as the farmers' agitation continues now for nearly 2 months. While the farmers are pushing for the repeal of laws, the government is insisting on amendments to address issues faced by farmers. The Supreme Court, meanwhile, will be resuming its hearing on the Delhi Police's plea, seeking an injunction against the proposed tractor rally on January 26th. In the last hearing, the top court had called it a matter of law and order, and it held that the Delhi Police should decide whether to allow farmers in Delhi or not. Farmers are preparing for a mega tractor parade that they slated to carry out on Republic Day, but they've said that they will call it off if the Supreme Court refrains them or restrains them from going ahead. Over to some political stories. The political temperatures are soaring after Congress MP Rahul Gandhi launched a twin attack against the Modi government over the alleged Chinese incursions in Arunachal Pradesh and raging farmer protests. The BJP quickly hit back at the Grand Old Party, saying that it was Congress that had gifted land to China and was misleading farmers.
Rahul Gandhi, back from his New Year break, fires the first salvo at his first press conference since the lockdown. He targeted the Narendra Modi government mainly on 2 issues: alleged Chinese intrusion in Arunachal Pradesh and farmer protest. The Congress MP accused the Prime Minister of failing to protect Indian territory.
अगर चाइना को क्लियर मैसेज हिंदुस्तान ने नहीं दिया, अगर हिंदुस्तान ने क्लियर अपने दिमाग में स्ट्रैटेजी नहीं बनाई, चाहे वो मिलिट्री स्ट्रैटेजी हो, चाहे वो इकोनॉमिक स्ट्रैटेजी हो, चाहे वो जियोपॉलिटिकल स्ट्रैटेजी हो, तो चाइना चुप नहीं बैठेगा।
BJP President JP Nadda had lashed out at the Gandhis long before Rahul's press meet. The party followed it up with a press meet of its own.
अरुणाचल की भूमि जो गई चीन के कब्जे में किसने दी? अक्साई चीन के कब्जे में कैसे गया? चीन से अपने प्राइवेट निजी ट्रस्ट को पैसा किसने लिया? दूतावास के घर जाकर कौन बैठे थे जब देश लड़ाई में था? सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल की स्थायी सदस्यता जो भारत को मिल रही थी, वो चीन को किसने बहाल की? सवाल बहुत है, नड्डा जी ने पूछे, उसका जवाब नहीं आपके पास।
Rahul Gandhi also trained his guns on the Modi government over farmer protests.
Why are the farmers of Punjab and the farmers of Haryana standing there? Who are they? They are the patriots of this country who are protecting the livelihood of 60% of this country. I 100% support them.
आज देश का किसान अगर गरीब रहा तो किनके नीति के चलते गरीब रहा? 50 साल कांग्रेस ने जो विनाशकारी अर्थनीति चलाई, उसके कारण किसान गरीब हुआ, उसके उपज का कभी मूल्य नहीं दिया। सरकार और किसान की वार्ता सफल हो, यह कांग्रेस नहीं चाहती।
What stood out was the lack of coordination in opposition ranks. Rahul Gandhi's was the only big voice to take up alleged Chinese encroachments in Arunachal Pradesh.
Rahul Gandhi is back at the center stage of opposition politics after a brief break. The Congress leader has launched a fresh attack against the centre, only to be hit back by the ruling BJP. Budget session of the parliament is round the corner, and to take on the might of Modi regime, Rahul Gandhi needs to bring allies on board. With camera person Ajay Thakur, this is Anand Patel in New Delhi for India Today.
Over to news from Tamil Nadu, where a week ahead of Jayalalitha's Shashikala's scheduled release from jail, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy has in fact made it very clear and shot down speculations of a possible re-entry of Shashikala in the party fold. EPS made this statement after meeting with Prime Minister Modi yesterday. He also met with Home Minister Amit Shah the day before. However, BJP General Secretary of Tamil Nadu, C.T. Ravi, said that a decision on Shashikala's entry will be taken with alliance partner AIADMK and said that politics isn't stagnant water. Earlier this week, you also had senior AIADMK leader Gokula Indra hailing Shashikala as the leader of the party who spent a life of sainthood along with Jayalalitha. Meanwhile, EPS will unveil Jayalalitha's memorial at Marina Beach on January 27th. That's the same day that Shashikala is scheduled to leave prison.
சசிகலா வெளியே வர பட்சத்தில் அதிமுக விட இணையருக்கு
ஒன்றும் வாய்ப்பே கிடையாது. அவர்கள் கட்சியிலே இல்லை.
சார், இந்த 7 பேர்
அதிமுக கட்சியிலே கிடையாது.
சசிகலா அவர்கள் அதிமுகல சேர மாட்டாங்க, அவங்க நாங்க ஏற்றுக்கொள்றோம்.
100% கிடையாது. அதாவது அனைத்து இந்திய அண்ணா திராவிட முன்னேற்ற கழகம் என்பது தெளிவாக முடிவு செய்யப்பட்டு இன்னைக்கு நடைபெற்றுக் கொண்டிருக்கிறது. தமிழ்நாடு முழுவதும் பார்க்கின்ற பொழுது பெரும்பாலான பேர் அங்க இருந்தெல்லாம் அதிமுக ஜாயின் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. சில பேர் அவரோட இருக்காங்க.
அவர் மட்டும் இருக்காருன்றீங்க, அவர் வந்தா ஏத்துப்பீங்களா?
அவரே பல காலம் நீக்கி வச்சிருந்தாங்க அம்மா. இப்ப அம்மா இறந்த பிறகுதான் அவரு வந்து பதவி கொடுத்திருக்கிறாங்க. மாநில ரீதியும் புரட்சித்தலைவி அம்மா இருக்கின்ற பொழுது அவர் கட்சியிலே கிடையாது.
Politics, it has not stagnant. It is flowing river. Some decision will take time only. But AIADMK, they are our major partners. We are sitting together and will take a decision.
Ahead of the birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, there's a big political face-off that's erupted over his legacy. BJP and the TMC are at loggerheads in a bid to go ahead and lay claim over Netaji's legacy ahead of the Bengal Assembly elections.
75 years after his disappearance, ahead of his 125th birth anniversary on January 23rd, there is now an all-out political war over the legacy of this man from West Bengal, who over years has acquired a cult figure national status. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Months before the tectonic elections of West Bengal, the incumbent, the TMC, the challenger, the BJP, know the importance of Netaji, understand the emotive connect he has to his people, grasp that he could very well be an effective political tool. The BJP is going all out. The Modi government has decided to celebrate Netaji's birth anniversary as Parakram Divas. Prime Minister Modi will visit West Bengal on January 23rd to attend Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's birth anniversary celebrations. He will also inaugurate a memorial museum in his honor in Kolkata.
जहाँ भी प्रधानमंत्री जी का प्रवास होता है तो संबंधित राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री को आमंत्रित किया जाता है, वो आमंत्रण को गया है, तो मुझे लगता है कि उसमें कोई अटकलबाजियों का कारण मुझे नहीं लगता। हम गरिमा और सम्मान के साथ नेताजी की जयंती को पराक्रम दिवस के रूप में मनाएंगे।
Hitting out at the BJP, TMC said the Saffron Party is trying to appropriate Bengali icon right ahead of polls. Mamta, while addressing a rally in Purulia, said her government was the first to announce Netaji's birth anniversary celebrations as Desh Nayak Divas. She also appealed to the centre to declare the day as a national holiday, adding that the Bengal government has been holding state-level celebrations on Netaji's birth anniversary since 2014.
কেন্দ্র কি ঘোষণা করেছে না করেছে, it is their here, but it is their discretion, but we are not happy. Because what they have announced, I think that even some family members are also not happy, I am told. So I do not know about it and I don't want to comment also because Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose is a great son of the soil and he is above all. So I don't want to do any politics now also.
After Rabindranath Tagore, there is yet another face-off brewing between TMC and the BJP over yet another cult figure, an icon. For the BJP, reinstating Netaji's legacy in its favour is as important as reinstating the neglect of his legacy by other political parties in the minds of the voters. For the TMC, it is BJP's desperate attempt to appropriate the state icon to further its political interests. But what is it for the voter? We'll only know when that last vote is counted. Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, it's the 31st anniversary of the mass exodus of Kashmiri Pandits from the valley. Over 3 lakh Kashmiri Pandits had to flee their homes in 1990 after a reign of terror was unleashed on them by separatists. India Today's Sunil G. Bhatt visited the largest refugee camp of Kashmiri Pandits on the outskirts of Jammu city to really get a sense of their plight.
Hundreds killed. Over 3 lakh forced into exile. Hundreds of temples desecrated. No SIT investigation, no commission of inquiry. 31 years on, no justice. This is the plight of the Kashmiri Pandits. To mark 31 years of their exile, Kashmiri Pandits across the globe are observing Holocaust Day.
It's the 31st anniversary of the Kashmiri Pandit exodus, and Kashmiri Pandits living across the globe are observing Holocaust Day today. Behind me you can see that Kashmiri Pandits are staging protests here in Jammu outside the United Nations Military Observers Group's office. You can see that Kashmiri Pandits are holding banners in their hands and they are demanding justice. They are saying that for last more than 3 decades they have been living as refugees in their own country.
अभी भी चुप्पी साधे हुए 31 साल हो गए। अभी जो हमने देखा शायद ही किसी कम्युनिटी ने वर्ल्ड में देखा होगा। ये विद द सपोर्ट हमारे जितने भी भाई लोग यहाँ पे हैं, बाहर हैं, जहाँ भी हम जाते हैं उनका सपोर्ट मिलता है। हम चाहते हैं कि यूनाइटेड नेशंस अब इंटरवीन करे। वर्ल्ड में हम एक ही कौम ऐसा है जिनको अपने ही देश में माइग्रेट बोलते हैं।
In 1989 to 1990, a reign of terror was unleashed by the separatists on Kashmiri Pandits. Hundreds of Kashmiri Pandits were killed in cold blood. Threatening letters were pasted on the doors of their houses. Local newspapers carried messages from terror groups asking Kashmiri Pandits to leave the valley. Slogans against Kashmiri Pandits blared from the loudspeakers of mosques. Within months, more than 3 lakh Kashmiri Pandits had to flee their homes in the wake of threats from terror groups. Thousands of them continue to languish in refugee camps to this day.
मेरे ससुर जी बेचारे घर में ही रहे, उन्होंने बोला नहीं मेरी ड्यूटी है बड़गांव में, एग्रीकल्चर में थी ये, वो ये तो उधर ही रह गए। उन्होंने बोला मुझे कोई नहीं करेगा कुछ, मगर ऐसा सोचने से उनको भी टारगेट बना दिया गया। तो फिर क्या, फिर तो
आपके ससुर जो हैं उनकी हत्या की आतंकवादियों
आतंकवादियों ने उनकी हत्या की।
बस लोग चल रहे हैं रात को सब वहाँ से जम्मू की तरफ रवाना हो रहे थे, कांप गए लोग। जब मारा दिन दहाड़े अखबारों में उन्होंने दिया निकल जाओ वरना हालात खबर हो जाएंगे, मिलिटेंसी बहुत हो गई। और हम वहाँ से फिर माइनॉरिटी में थे, लिहाजा भागना पड़ा।
Refugees living in camps complain of lack of basic amenities.
10 साल से हम चलाते हैं कि जगती में साफ पानी इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ है, सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट बेसिक इशू है मानवता का कि पानी पीने के लिए साफ होना चाहिए ताकि हम बाकी बीमारियों से बचें। ये एक इनिशियल पॉइंट है, ये कोई इसका कोई मतलब ही नहीं है, लेकिन आज तक ये भी नहीं हुआ है। अगर हिंदुस्तान में मुझे पूछा जाएगा कि सबसे पैट्रियाटिक इंसान कौन है, कौन सी कम्युनिटी है जो देश के साथ खड़ी रही 24 घंटे, कश्मीरी पंडितों के हमने कश्मीरी पंडितों के बगैर कोई ऐसी कौम सामने हिंदुस्तान में नहीं देखा। लेकिन सबसे ज्यादा समस्या अगर होगी, अगर सबसे ज्यादा झेलना पड़ा, वो हमारी कौम को झेलना पड़ा है।
जिसने ये बनाया अगर वो मुझे मिल जाए ना, मैं उसको खड़ी पसली कर दी। ये देखो ना क्या क्या किया यहाँ, इनको नहीं पता था यहाँ आएंगे। जो भी यहाँ बैठेगा बेचारा सुकून से, बच्चे हैं छोटे हैं, ये देखो जब भी इनको ये करते हैं ये ऐसा ही।
While pundits wait for justice, the political parties continue to indulge in blame game.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में, चाहे वो निर्वासन का समय हो, तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने कश्मीरी पंडित समुदाय के लिए लगातार काम किया। आज भी उस वक्त के तोड़े गए मंदिरों का पुनर्द्वार किया जा रहा है।
बीजेपी तो कहती रही कि कुछ स्पॉन्सर नेता भी कह सकते हैं, और कांग्रेस सरकार ने तो काफी कुछ करने का प्रयास किया। ये जो राहत पैकेज है कि मंथली उनको कुछ रिलीफ के तौर पे दिया जाता है, कुछ राशन दिया जाता है, कुछ फाइनेंशियल एड दी जाती है, वो उसी दौर में नरसिम्हा राव जी की सरकार के दौरान शुरू हुई थी और आज तक वो उसमें रिवीजन होता गया।
After the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A, the Kashmiri Pandits are saying that a ray of hope has emerged for them as they feel that Modi government can take tough decisions about Jammu and Kashmir. While political parties are indulging in blame game over the plight of Kashmiri Pandits, the displaced community continues to languish in different refugee camps in Jammu. The homecoming clearly remains a distant dream for the Kashmiri Pandits. With video journalist Neeraj Kumar, this is Sunil Bhatt reporting from Jagti in Jammu for India Today.
Welcome back. India's epic victory at Brisbane has seen the birth of a new era, with youngsters really stepping up to engineer India's most famous series win. Shubman Gill, Rishabh Pant, Mohammad Siraj, Washington Sundar, really the list just goes on and on. If history will remember this win, history will also remember these youngsters.
It's the dawn of a new era.
You could not stop one of the greatest spectacles you will see in life. You cannot stop sport.
This Team India has scripted its own fate.
A series that was alive right till the end. Your two teams looking at each other eye to eye.
Heroes have emerged and names have been immortalized.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Unbelievable cricket. Unbelievable cricket.
Rishabh Pant, for the majority of his career, has had to face a lot of criticism for doing injustice to his talent. But the left-hander has come of age and his temperament was on full display in this epic chase to breach Australia's fortress.
Rishabh Pant, still determined as ever.
team management always backs me and tell me that you are a match winner and you always have to go and win the match for the team. That's the only thing I keep on thinking every day, that I want to win matches for India, and I'm happy that I did it today.
Mohammad Siraj was battling an ordeal every day.
There's a third man there and rightly placed.
The speedster lost his father even before the Test series began, but he stayed back to watch his teammates suffer injuries after injuries and then those racial bobs. How he responded was a story in itself as he picked up a 5-wicket haul.
The emergence of a young Indian bowler has had quite an impact on this series.
Oh, he's gone for it. He's thrown his bat at it. The young man first bounce for 4.
Shubman Gill has also announced that he is here to stay and not the next big thing, but he already seems to be the big thing in Indian cricket. Washington Sundar, Shardul Thakur, T. Natarajan and Hanuma Vihari were the other young architects of this famous series win that may define the next era of Indian cricket.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.